Good morning, everybody. Welcome to special session Nogales Housing Authority Board of Commissioners meeting 10 a.m. Monday, July 7th, 2025, City Hall Complex, Council Chambers. Would you please call this meeting to order? Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. John. Hey. We'll go direct to item number 3, discussion. 1, discussion and possible action to confirm the continued appointment of Maritza Cervantes as interim executive director of the housing authorities pending her willingness to remain in the position. The commission may also consider alternatives, including the designation of another staff member to serve as an interim role to provide direction on the steps in the recruitment process. Anybody? Ms. Maritza, first of all, what's your willingness? What's your availability? What's your plans? How can we work together and see how we could come to at least, like you said, maybe an interim or support, or unless there's a decision of yours of coming back.
Good morning, and thank you. And I hope you all had a good 4th of July weekend. Unfortunately, I cannot commit full-time to an interim position. I do have 2 weeks before I start my new position. However, within those 2 weeks, I do have a funeral I have to attend in LA, and then I have to prepare for my new position. However, if we do not find anybody soon, I am willing to help and provide support on a part-time basis, or maybe even on a as-needed basis, to provide support to our staff. My biggest concern at this point would be segregation of duties when it comes to HUD and finance. Terry, who's here with me today, is actually our finance manager. However, we have to make sure that in compliance with HUD and regulations that we're able to segregate those duties. So whether it's me or somebody else of your choice, because it's all your choice, I just want to make sure that we stay within those boundaries of the segregation of duties because of the fact that she is the finance manager. The day-to-day procedures, she has a lot on her plate as a finance manager, and the day-to-day procedures would add to it. It would take a lot, or it does take a lot of teamwork for the day-to-day procedures to follow through. However, again, whether it's me or somebody else helping Terry, if Terry accepts that position, it would have to be somebody assisting her to make sure the day-to-day procedures are taken care of. I'm just putting my 2 cents in.
Go ahead, Ms. Camacho-Para.
I just have a question. So the various other times that there were interims, wasn't Ms. Ibarra the interim at the time?
She was, but never by herself. There was always somebody else with her, and Mr. Kissinger played a big role in that, especially in administrating programs at a state level. And Terry can vouch to that. I wasn't here, I'm just taking information from what they have.
He would sign, contracts, anything. Yes, Mr. Kissinger would help a lot with, especially signing. I'm an AP, I process checks, but I can't sign them. So right now, the signees are Ms. Cervantes and Jean.
Well, during that time, I remember, I wasn't on the council, of course, but I remember it was Mr. Thompson and Kissinger flip-flopping every 6 months, but so did things run smooth that way as well?
Actually, Mr. Kissinger would take a big role in our department, especially with a lot of signing.
So it wouldn't be possible to have Ms. Jean from Finance help out in that part to run things smoothly? It's an interim position. Would you be willing to take that responsibility with her help from?
She would be able to sign all contracts and anything else that needs to.
Go ahead, Commissioner Montiel.
Yeah, so I was here when the flip-flopping occurred. So Jean is an authorized signaturer of the city of Nogales, which we have also approved a couple of years ago. So we know that. Also, Mr. Kramer's not here. So what I see here going on is that this is not new. We've had different directors, from the time that I've been on the council, and many of us here. So it didn't seem to be a problem back then, having different directors in and out, So the thing is that we're in a situation that Maritza resigned, and I don't see any difference between what happened back then to now. What you're saying, just to kind of clarify it, is that you are willing to take on the responsibility, and we are, I believe we are here to support our housing, including yourself, if you were to take on this responsibility with Jean. And also, let's not forget, Mr. Kramer is also the city manager, and if you look at the city charter, he specifically has, that authority, like the past city managers did. Mr. Kissinger wasn't the city manager, but yet he had that authority, like you all say. Meantime, Mr. Kissinger, Mr. Kramer knows about grants. I know firsthand. He's written grants, he's authorized grants, he's ran grants. So while we were looking for someone, I don't see a problem where you can do the financial part of it, because that's your expertise, and you do it really, really well. I've seen it since I've been here. There's never been an issue that I know of. Since the time here, I haven't heard from the feds, so obviously things have been going well. In the future, I'd like to hear from the federal government, come and give a presentation. But I don't see a problem, meantime, that Mr. Kramer, Mrs. Molman, and yourself do what used to happen before. There's no difference. We just have names here that are different. So I'm sure that Mr. Kramer he's not here, but like you say, it's just, if it's a matter of signing something, he can sign off on something because he trusts you. He knows that you know what you're doing. Jean should know what you're doing, because she's been signing off for the time she's been here. So I don't see a problem assigning you interim and having the support base that you need, that you've had before. We're just changing names. From Kissinger, it's Mr. Kramer. That's all we're doing today. That's all we're requesting today. And you'll have all the support that you've had in the past.
Commissioner Doyle.
Yes, I kind of agree with Mrs. Montiel, or Commissioner Montiel. So, the only thing, I guess we just need to make sure that we have our city manager's blessings on this, because we are considering using his staff or the people under him, which I guess you could do that with a phone call and get it done. But I just want to make sure. I don't see him on the Zoom, so that's why I'm thinking, since he's not participating, we need to wait and get on board with him.
Okay. I think, Mr. Estes, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Mayor and Council, I just wanted to point out that section 2-12 of the city code specifies the various departments that are subordinate to the manager. The following departments are under the supervision of the manager, and that is housing authority. Of course, the council or not the council, the commissioners, are responsible for the appointment of the executive director of the housing authority. But the housing authority department falls under the management authority of the city manager. So I think that's probably why, one, Joel's on vacation, but two, he's kind of distanced himself and hasn't been involved with the executive director position, because that is a commissioner, appointed, kind of like the city clerk, city attorney, different things like that, where Joel doesn't get involved in those decisions. That's a commissioner's decision. But, regardless, I don't have any concerns or questions that there would be the support necessary from the city manager's office and also the city attorney's office. We've got a couple really good assistants in the city attorney's office that can help out with some things during the interim position. So, I don't want anybody to feel like they're going to be overwhelmed and stuff. There's definitely support here for that interim time period.
Thank you, sir. Did you have something?
No, Mayor, please I have a question for Maritza on the phone.
Go ahead, Mr. Bonilla.
Maritza, what if you would bring in, good morning, Maritza. What if you bring in Javier Angulo to help out Terry?
Good morning. Javier does his share. I mean, Terry wouldn't be covering maintenance. Javier would be covering maintenance. Again, we go back to the same thing. Procedures. It's just establishing procedures and making sure that we have that. So let's say they need to purchase something for maintenance. The POs go through me and approve before they go to Terry. So it's little things like that when it comes to the actual segregation of duties that I spoke about, as long as procedures are established and Terry's actually, given the direction as to how to change these procedures, everything will be fine. But yes, Mr. Angulo does his share of supervising the maintenance department, unless you were referring to something else, Mr. Bonilla.
No, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My question is, okay, the operation is one thing. And that's what I think we're talking right now, that I think it's pretty well established financial, yes, signatures, it's basically processes. Now, my concern is, follow up, we fell back on requirements, we fell back on reporting, we fell back on certifications and stuff like that, which is what you have really achieved tremendously, Maritza, in getting us back into being compliant. That is my main concern, and in the meantime, while we find executive director, would we be able to say, keep Maritza like a consultant for us not falling back on any issues, and basically go back from the long road that we have come ahead and done a great job, Maritza, and to be where we're at right now with a 98%, and being out of the non-compliance field. Who's gonna look at that? Who's gonna while we get another director, who's gonna be seeing that? That I know it takes a lot of time, and I'm not sure, Maritza, if you have it in writing where this is this and this and that is due when and where, so we could follow up on that. That's my main concern on having maybe Maritza as a part-time, just keeping up on those follow-ups. Anybody have a comment on that?
I have a question. Mr. Estes, this is for you. Did we establish a time frame for the, first we had said internal applications, and then did we establish a specific time frame for that?
I'm trying to remember from the meeting, I don't know. You guys had mentioned something about a 5-day period or something like that, but you can establish that, or even if you did say something about a time period last week, you can amend that and address how long you want to keep that open for internal applicants prior to going outside. I think you want to give enough time for people to submit, but you also want to have it short enough to where if you're not going to get any internal applicants, that you're able to go outside and work on getting this position filled.
Commissioner Bohorquez?
This, and this is, maybe we can get an opinion from the attorney. As if we hire somebody as a consultant, I don't know that they would be making any decisions or signing any documents. They would have to go through they would have to recommend it to the acting interim or somebody at housing, and then they have to go through the city manager to make any decision on anything that they need to sign. And I don't know as far as responsibilities of a consultant, and they can only consult. They can't make definite decisions, and maybe you can help on that, Mr. Estes?
Yes, that's correct. The consultant would just be there to help provide information, guidance, and direction. But I think the main question would be to ask Marita if that's something that she would even be able to do.
Maritza, before you answer that question, is the audit going on right now? So we need somebody in place there, at least, not 2 hours or 3 hours. You need somebody there at all times, because a lot of questions may come up by the auditor, and I don't know. Like I said, if a consultant can answer those questions or make those decisions.
I would go back to the same thing, Mr. Estes, on your question. I cannot commit, like I said, full-time or certain hours. It would be on a as-needed basis to provide consultation if that's what you need. I understand what policies and procedures are. I'm just here to offer my support if you need it moving forward.
Commissioner Montero?
Maritza, does the federal government know that you resigned, or your supervisor?
The portfolio specialist, which is
Whatever
the
they're
executive director for the state of Arizona, yes, he does know.
Portfolio.
And so do the support groups and everybody else.
So it behooves us to like Mr. Estes said earlier. I mean, we have an attorney that has a law firm that has a number of specialized attorneys that are well versed in federal law and what have you. So we have that resource. We can call them also a consultant. I mean, they have that capacity. They're experts in those areas. Yeah, we know that. And Mr. Estes knows that he has a law firm that have expertise in that area. So having said that, I don't see why. In the past, I know firsthand, I know that Mrs. Terry and the director at that time would consult with these portfolio managers or portfolio, whatever their names are. So that's that resource there. We can get in touch, one of us can get in touch with these portfolio, or the city manager can get in touch with them, and that's that resource. The attorney has expertise in that law firm that deal with federal issues. And this is just meantime. Maritza's standing here before us, and we're kind of going in circles. She says she's not, available. At the end of the day, she resigned. And so we need to pass that obstacle, and move forward. It's almost like, she resigned. So we need to also look now forward, what's in the best interest of the housing authority for a period of time. And I honestly feel like we have other resources. We've had them before. This is not a new story for us. We've had interims after interims after interims, and we had directors going back and forth. The stability of the program, I trust the law firm, I trust Ms. Ibarra, I trust the person that we will, I'm sure Mr. Estes will contact this portfolio consultant from the federal government, and I think that we will be fine. And with the finance, and Mr. Kramer, like he just said, it's in the charter. Mr. Kramer has dealt with grants. I know that.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yes, we just updated the bylaws and last meeting regarding the housing authority, and it states that that the city manager is still in charge of all the departments of the city, including the Nogales Housing Authority, through the executive director. I know that Terry has been there a long time, and she's very familiar with the program, and I think she's capable of managing the housing authority while we look for an interim, not for an interim, but a full-time and executive director. She would only have to be contacting the city manager for any signatures, or if she's questioning any decisions, she can consult with the city manager, just like she did before with Mr. Kissinger. And even though Mr. Kramer, I don't know how familiar he is with housing, but he can always come to the commission and ask some of us, if he has a question regarding some issues with the housing authority. And I'm sure that the housing authority also has staff there is very familiar with all the guidelines and regulations of HUD, that they can proceed, for a couple of months. I know that at one point we didn't have a housing director for almost a year, and we didn't see a problem. We kept going, and Terry was taking care of that role for that time. So I don't see any difference right now.
Mr. Doe?
Well, I guess as long as the reins can be held, but I'm kind of have the same concern you did, Mayor, that we don't want to fall back in any area of housing. We've come a long way, and Marita's done a great job, and so I believe Terry could hold those reins, but like I said, I guess if we can just figure out the support she'll get, so till we find, hopefully that's going to take a long process. If we shorten the process of finding a new director, then we'll be okay. So I just wanted to kind of put that little concern there, that we just need to make sure that support is there for Terry. That's it, Mayor.
So with that said, do you guys want to continue? And what I'm taking from you guys, it's that you're looking at wanting to put Ms. Terry Ibarra as our interim.
Well, let's ask her if she wants to.
Ms. Terry?
First.
Not the first, not the second, not the third, not the fourth, not the fifth, not the sixth, not the seventh time or eighth time.
Well, I'm just going to give my opinion. I was
Yes.
hoping that Maritza would be able to stay at least for a couple of hours a day, because it is a lot of work, especially right now with the audit and with a lot of reports due. And she did a really good job and is doing a really good job. That's what I was hoping. I mean, I could do a day-to-day, no problem, but decisions as to contract signing, it is a lot of work.
But the question is, are you willing to step up as the interim? Because you will have that support, like Mr. Estes stated, and like Commissioner Montiel stated, you have that support. You have the city manager, you have the law firm, so that'll be covered. So the question is, would you like to, if we make the motion to appoint you as the interim, is yes or no?
When will the job position be announced?
It should be 5 days internally, and then it opens. Well, you know, what I take from Terry is, you know, and, you know, like I said before, you know, she feels there is a need for some support. You know, I again say, you know, can we do Maritza for a month or two, go month by month and just helping out, you know, a couple hours? And I don't know how we could work it out, but go ahead, Commissioner Bojorquez.
Well, I don't know what the situation with Maritza is. Are you starting a new job, Maritza, and when are you starting? Is that wouldn't interfere with your counseling as a consultant?
I start my new position on the 30th of July.
30?
30 de julio.
So up to then, you know, you won't be able to take any time off during your other job, right, to come to the housing authority. And I think it would be very inconvenient, not only for you, but for the staff at the housing authority.
Mr. Dahl, do you have something?
I think we're putting Maritza in a very, very difficult position. She just mentioned she just can't do it. So let's go ahead, if Terry can do it, meanwhile, and look for a person right now, as of now.
I'm not saying, you know, not putting it out. You know, I'm just saying, you know, just like it came out from Terry's mouth, that, you know, that the support from now till when we get somebody, she would feel a lot more comfortable with the support of having Maritza support her in certain details that go through the process of the housing. So, you know, I think, you know, it's the right way to go to just have somebody look over what Terry is support needs. I'm not throwing out, not opening the position. I'm not throwing out doing it now. I'm just trying to give the comfort to Terry that, you know, we said, you know, even Mr. Kramer does not have the experience of what's going on right now. And I'm just trying to give the interim, you know, I agree. Give Terry the interim, but with the support of Maritza on a weekly basis or whatever, you know, whatever we could do. Go ahead, Mr. Bojorquez.
Well, we don't want to force something on Maritza. You know, if she's trying to focus on her new employment, and then she doesn't have time to focus on the issues of the housing authority, and not. Terry's very familiar with the housing authority, and in case any issues come up, she can always call HUD. HUD's always willing to give advice and maybe sometimes even come down and help the housing authority. So I think, you know, we can do good with Terry as an interim right now. Because I don't know what the schedule Ms. Cervantes has from now until the 30th. I don't know if she'll be going to some training in you know, from the school district or something like that. But we don't want to compromise her, you know, make her commit to something that's going to interfere with the new employment.
Hold on, let's listen to what Mr. Estes has to say.
It's not mayor, it's chairman, sorry, commissioners. Maybe one thing I might suggest is, if Maritza is okay with it, we can establish like a, you know, an on-call, basis, dollar amount contract kind of thing, to where if there is a limited issue that Maritza knows about or something, and we could call her to get some information or advice on a limited basis. That way we have an established, you know, dollar amount that she's not going to be doing that at, you know, at no cost. But if we do reach out to her, you know, we'd have a you know, a certain dollar amount, whatever that would be, and then, you know, the interim would be, for whatever period of time as we're going out through this recruitment period, but that she would be compensated as well at the level of the current director on an interim basis.
Mr. Doe?
Thank you, Mr. Steve. You kind of took the words out of my mouth, but I was also going to make that suggestion. And in that same token, with what Vice Mayor or Commissioner Bojorquez said, and if anyone knows how HUD is run and how the housing department, well, it's our former director here. So I kind of like what he said, that there's other avenues there with HUD that they can get support from within. I guess he knows more on who to call. But I think between what Mr. Estes said, if Maritza can do it, fine. I'm in agreement with that. But if it's a little too much, or it's just kind of annoying for her, well, that's her decision. But again, I believe in this situation, I take to heart what Commissioner Bojorquez says, because of his background and the knowledge that he has into housing. So I thank you for those comments, Commissioner Bojorquez. And I think we're coming close to a solution here. And so I think I'll let you guys continue in that path. Thank you.
You have a comment, Maritza?
Yes, I do. And I don't mind. Again, that's what I was referring to in the beginning, on a need-to-need basis. I just don't want to commit and not be able to be there and provide. On a need-to-need basis, if I can talk to Terry, 4 PM, sure, or when I have time, answer her email, as long as it's not something that I'm expected to be there 911 and answer at that moment, then I don't mind providing that support. I just don't want to commit when I'm committed elsewhere. That's the whole bottom line here.
Thank you. Commissioner Pereira?
As Mr. Estes pointed out, Ms. Ibarra will have the support, again, from the law firm, Pearson Coleman, from the city manager. It's not going to be forever. We're putting the timeline. So I make a motion to appoint Ms. Ibarra as interim until we get a full-time executive.
Go ahead.
No, there's a first and a second.
Okay.
More discussion.
No.
Do we need to add, would you want to add that, leaving Ms. Maritza as an on-call availability to that motion. Ms. Parada, would you leave it open to her being that the city manager or the the legal work out something where she would be compensated for support?
Chairman,
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
on this point, we really don't need that as part of the formal
Yeah.
motion. We have the ability to contract with individuals and stuff, so we can work that out as a separate agreement with Marita. So we wouldn't need that as part of the motion. That's the motion be clarified that during that interim period that her salary will be adjusted to current director's salaries, but she's fairly compensated for the work she's doing as the interim director.
Okay. To add that to your,
No, you don't have.
No.
okay, so with that said, the motion's to put Ms. Terry Ibarra as the interim, and like you said, legal with a compensation of salary and everything. Go ahead, Vice Mayor, you have a comment?
Just one comment. We've already got a motion and a second, and I think that as far as a consultant, that would be the manager's decision, the city manager's decision, just like any other department. You know, it doesn't go through the council. Yeah.
Just to add to it, thank you, Hector. Reminding us that there's the city manager who would, in consultation with the attorney and the interim director, make that decision, because these are public funds that will be used. Thank you.
Okay, with that said, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Anything else? Move to adjourn this meeting. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that was on the call. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Marita.
Thank you, and good luck on your new job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.